Hello, welcome back to the channel. It's your favourite Scotsman here again. We've all heard the old age saying, to err is human, but when it comes to retirement, some blunders can cost you a wee bit more than others. Today, we're diving deep into the murky waters of financial missteps. Where I could go on and on with a list as long as Young Street, I've handpicked the top 5 retirement planning mistakes I see folks make time and time again. So whether you're sipping on your morning brew or just setting in for some wisdom, let's jump right in and steer clear of these financial pitfalls, shall we? Our first big blunder is a doozy. I've seen it more times than I care to count. It's the old age tale of folks overlooking the power of the RRSP. Now, I get it, there's that lingering thought, aye, if I stash my cash in an RRSP, I'll be handing it over to the tax man later on. So some of you might think, why bother? I might as well squirrel it away under the mattress or pop it into a TFSA. Hold your horses. If you're making roughly $50,000 a year or more annually, then an RRSP should be on your radar. Why? For starters, the upfront tax relief would be the first gift, with the second being that it can safely grow away from the taxman's grasp until you decide to take a dip into your RRSP. Now, there's no getting away from it. When the golden years of retirement roll around, or you fancy drawing out that money, the government will ask for their share. But let me spill a secret from the countless financial pans we've created over the years. Very little else like it than getting that upfront tax break when you're working at a high tax rate of, say, a hefty 40%, and then when you're lounging in retirement, withdrawing it at a gentler average tax rate of around 20%. It's delightful. And let's not forget that your money is growing on a tax-deferred basis. So think twice before you bypass the RRSP. The second big mistake that trips many up on the path to a comfortable retirement, this might ruffle a few feathers, but hear me out. Reconsider jumping the gun on your CPP. You get to age 60 or 65 and by default start to take your CPP. But there's compelling evidence to suggest you might want to wait a bit. Various independent studies have shed light on the idea that holding off until you're closer to 70 is often the wisest choice, at least financially. Of course, this is assuming that you've got good health and a decent life expectancy to bank on. Now, I can already hear some of you saying, but what if I get to 60 and heaven forbid I'm gone by 61? I'll have missed out. But let's take a wee moment to think about the odds of that. Planning based on averages, particularly life expectancy, can be more beneficial than you'd imagine. If you're the average Canadian, there's a strong case to be made that waiting until age 70 to tap into the CPP is the best option. Naturally, if you have health issues that are on the horizon, or you've got other pressing concerns, that's a different kettle of fish. However, what's staggering is that so many are electing to take their CPP between ages 60 and 65, with the national average hovering around 63. By doing so, you could be leaving a hefty sum on the table, unclaimed and unenjoyed. It's worth noting that, despite many claims to the contrary, the CPP is in robust health itself. It's well funded and will support you for the rest of your life. Very quick break here. If you're enjoying today's video, please do consider subscribing to the channel. We would appreciate it and you don't get to miss another video. Okay, back to what you came for. Moving on, and the third big blunder we've noticed is giving the cold shoulder to your TFSA as you approach those golden years. I've seen many of you working diligently in your RRSPs, and while I tip my hat to you for that, remember the first point, it's crucial to make sure that you're also funding your TFSA as you move into retirement. Imagine only having an RRSP or a defined benefit pension plan to lean on. Need a new car because the old one's packed in, or maybe you fancy a holiday with the family. If you need a hefty sum for any such ventures, pulling from that registered account is like setting off a tax time bomb. This is where the TFSA shines as a trustworthy, readily available resource that you can reach into for more considerable expenses without a tax headache. So, if you're gearing up for retirement and haven't got a strategy in place for those larger expenses, it may be time to start thinking about them. The exact percentage that you put into each will be your call, but if you're unsure, chat with your financial planner. Of course, if you don't have one, feel free to reach out and we'll point you in the right direction, whether that's working with us or somebody else. If you're about 5 to 10 years out from your retirement party, now's the time to make this a priority, although it's rarely too early to start planning. Alright, Diving into the fourth mistake. This one's a bit technical, but bear with me. Not unlocking your LIRA. That's your locked-in retirement account. For many of you nodding your heads right now, you likely got this LIRA from an old employer's pension plan, either the defined contribution or the defined benefit type. It's like the wee cousin of the RRSP, but with handcuffs on. If you're not sure what a locked-in account is, then this video may help you dive into the finer points. When you start to take funds out of your portfolio in retirement, this LIRA morphs into a life income fund, much like an RRSP becomes a RIF. Depending on where in our lovely nation you decide to hang your cat, you could unlock anywhere between 50% and a full 100% of this account. For those scratching your heads about an unlocking, it's not some magical money fountain. It simply means that you can shift funds from the LIRA to the RRSP. Using the example of a LIRA based in Ontario, you can free up to 50% of it. Say you're sitting on 100 grand in a LIRA. When the time comes, 50 grand can be moved over to the RRSP, and the other half sets up shop in a LIF, or life income fund, as I mentioned. Why, you ask? Well, both RIF and LIF have a minimum withdrawal rule, but here's the kicker. If you're in need of a lavish home makeover or something to that effect, you can withdraw your entire RIF to fund it. Meanwhile, a LIF has a maximum amount you can take out each year, limiting your freedom. Now for the fifth and final retirement planning mistake. Entering retirement blind as a bat. Not having a plan is like setting off on a road trip without a map or even a clue about your destination. Our aim, to provide our clients with a GPS and trusted co-pilot for their retirement. Each aspect, be it employer pensions, CPP, TFSAs, it all fits together in this grand tapestry that we call retirement. A financial planner stitches these together, sewing a plan to maximise your post-tax income while looking for ways to reduce taxes payable along the way. If retirement's getting closer and you're still fumbling in the dark, it might be time to consider some guidance. That's it for today, folks. By avoiding these 5 mistakes, you'll be better equipped to shape a retirement as a true reflection of your desires, values and aspirations. If you enjoyed today's video, then please consider giving us a like and consider subscribing to the channel. It only takes a second. Thank you for joining me, and here's to creating the retirement of your dreams. Until next time, and don't forget, a good financial plan understands your goals, but a great one knows the motivations behind them.